What does Zyn really give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but also real freedom to do more of what you love, when and where you want to do it. Why bring Zyn along for the ride? Because America's #1 nicotine pouch opens up all the possibilities of right now. With Zyn, you don't just find freedom, you keep finding it. Find your Zyn. Learn more at Zyn.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the US. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Thank you.
I did not get props for my Gollum.
Because your Smeagol sounds like your impression of David doing Stitch.
Your Smeagol,
it sounds like how
your Smeagol sounds like Smigel.
It sounds like you're trying to impersonate David doing Stitch.
Master, no.
Please don't do that. You're gonna fall off the chair.
Smeagol is good. That's good.
When you combine the voice with the faces you're making, it kind of brings a little bit more to it, I think.
Welcome to the Hockey Show, Rosie.
I'm sorry, I did not know I have my microphone on.
Yeah, no shit. Thank you. Welcome to the Hockey Show. My name is Roy Bellamy. That is David Dwork of the Hockey News. Ethan and Rosie in the shipping container as they distract me from doing the show. And speaking of distractions, we have a little picture behind us on the LCD screen if you're listening.
You may have noticed, actually, Rose has been making these every week for us, and they're we appreciate the effort and everything, but we've asked her many times, what's the number one thing?
All right, so the first thing is, and you should know better than this because you're a big fan of his, but Alexander Barkov's jersey,
handsome.
I understand that you believe that, but Alexander Barkov, this is a picture from
6 years ago?
6 years ago when the Panthers were celebrating, the 25th anniversary?
Yeah, well, because last year was 30 when they won the Cup. So that
would be almost, wouldn't it be 7 years ago? Because it was 2018.
Last year was the 30th.
7'5" doesn't matter. He looks very handsome, and look at the action in his eyes. I think it's a perfect.
So you're saying he's not handsome now? He was only handsome 6 years ago.
He's got such a baby face in that picture. He looks so young.
That's because it was 7 years ago.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
He looks like he's
crazy.
in action. So I don't know. I thought it was a perfect picture.
Okay,
beyond the Barkov issue.
The second error on this one is they have Jamie Benn, the Dallas Stars. She flipped the photo horizontally, so now it looks like he's wearing the jersey backwards.
And he's right-handed. Jamie Benn is left-handed, isn't he?
Well,
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it looks like the Stars logo is flipped. You know, so it's a backwards D.
We have a G. So it's like good
Which is
stars.
it's not good.
The good stars.
Yeah,
The good stars. There you go.
All right, whatever.
Not
also,
feeling so good after last night.
there are 6 players on there. 5 of them are wearing the home jerseys. One of them, Carolina Hurricanes, wearing a road jersey.
Does Edmonton still wear the orange jerseys?
Edmonton doesn't wear that orange and that navy combo either. That's an old Edmonton. And also, Barkey is on. If you flipped Barkey and Hellebuck, then it would be east on the left side and west on the right side. But now it's all jumbled
but now
up.
it's backwards because west is left and
right.
right.
But I don't understand why Rose, being the Barkey fan that she is, and being that it's the Stanley Cup playoffs, didn't use a picture of Barkey lifting the Stanley Cup last year.
There'll be 2 cups on the picture.
We are fighting for the cup right now.
But who has the cup?
You know what?
The Panthers are the defending champions. They're trying to get
the Hockey Hall of
It's
Fame
not
has the
working
cup
anymore. Okay.
I like the
Semantics.
pictures, but you can do a little better next week. I think.
I will do a little better.
You hold yourself to a high standard,
I will
Rose.
do better next week. Moving on. What's next on the plate?
All right, what's next on the plate is we're going to lead off the show with talking about the life of equipment managers and the guys who handle the equipment in the National Hockey League. That's
Those
a tough
guys
job.
put in the hours.
Yes, they do.
They're so hard. I don't know if people realize the equipment managers. They're the first ones there. They're the last ones to leave. They'll go in the middle of the night if they have to. The hours that they have to put in on the road are insane. Those guys put in the hours. hours, man.
This is why the players create a money pool.
Oh, yeah.
And distribute money to the guys who work in the equipment department because they absolutely deserve it.
Well, because they go above and beyond. Like, every player has their own particular needs. Like, you're an athlete. Everybody's got you got to put their skates on a certain way. I want my laces, certain color tape. The equipment guys know everybody's intricacies. They know everything about everybody. So it's, I just want to give them some props.
Yeah, and that includes Brad Harrison, not Bud Harrison, but Brad. No, that's a baseball player.
That's a baseball player.
Yeah, Brad Harrison, who's the equipment manager for the Edmonton Oilers, likes to make sure that the players are happy. In this case, he has to deal with equipment issues like drying gloves because they get soaked. While you're playing in a hockey game, you got the ice, the water from that, and sweat, which is why they don't smell good. But in this case, you got to keep them dry for your players. And in this situation, he's doing that for Connor McDavid. Please play the video.
You want him on the glove jar? He didn't give them to me. Why is he mad? Why is he mad at me? He didn't give them to me. You want me to put him on glove jar? You didn't give me the gloves. Come on, man, let's go. 2-5. But he didn't even give me the gloves, man. Dude. Connor yells, the gloves are wet. Well, did you give them to us to dry? No. Leo, I heard Connor. He's like, they're wet. Hey, come on, Brad. You're not potential. Come here. Just go right here. Watch.
Brad goes to the glove dryer, puts them on there really quick.
Tell me, hey, Leo going?
Then he has to get Leon Draisaitl's gloves.
We'll do an empty timeout too.
My only thought here, Roy, we've been in a few locker rooms. We've been in some equipment rooms. We've seen behind the scenes. They have like closets full of gear.
Yeah.
Shit piles. Can't we just get him a new pair of gloves?
No, because you got to get used. I mean, those gloves are worn in.
Well, can't they wear in like 3 or 4 sets at a time?
You are an athlete. And they are very predictionist, presumptuous.
Particular.
And if you don't use
Superstitious?
superstitious.
And also superstitious. Yes, exactly. But
So maybe that's it.
these players have 3 pairs of gloves, though.
Yeah, that kind of threw me a little bit. But anyway.
Yeah, shout out to the equipment managers. You guys deserve all the money that the players give you at the end of the season as a bonus, as well as your salary, because that is a tough job. Tough job. Wins and fails of the week, they're sponsored by Jägermeister. Serve it cold or don't serve it at all. Jägermeister, damn, that's cold. For more, visit Jägermeister.com. Drink responsibly. Dave, what is your win of the week?
My win of the week is former Panthers defenseman Keith Yandel. Always a character, always a fun guy. When he was on the team, his corner of the locker room with him and like Frank Vetrano, that's always where I would go because that's always where the fun happened, all the best quotes.
Yeah.
So Yandel hasn't been shy about being a Panthers fan during their Stanley Cup runs. He's been on the podcast, the Spit and Chicklets podcast, with Paul Bissonnette, who is not shy about waving his Leafs flag. He goes on TNT with like a Leafs blazer and pocket square, so very clearly the Leafs guy.
And R.A., who is definitely not welcome in that Panthers locker room.
No, we learned that last year on the ice, didn't we?
Yeah, and Ryan Whitney, who was in that Panthers locker room for you.
How'd they get in there? So Biz, being the pro Leafs guy that he is, Yandel decided he was going to give it back to him a little bit. So before Game 5 in Toronto, Biz thought he was going to be the lucky guy. He's going to go to his hometown and bring good luck to the Leafs. So Yandel went to the restaurant Houston's. Why is that important to Biz? Well, those of you paying attention over the summer know that's where Biz got jumped. He was doing the right thing. He was defending the restaurant. But that's where Biz got jumped by a bunch of drunk Irish guys or some hooligans or some crap. Mm-hmm. So Yandel decided to go to Houston's to watch the Panthers, and we know what happened there. But Yandel posted the video to social media, and I really liked it. So can we play that, please?
Game
Close the
5
car door.
tonight. Huge one. I know Biz is trying to do his thing, switch it up, go back to Welland where he fell in love with his beloved Leafs. But for me, it's going to the well and doing what I know helps work.
Yeah. Going to Houston's.
Boy. Busy. We're coming.
You're coming to jump you, Busy.
I love it, dude. He was a fun guy when he was on the team, and now he's like so pro Panthers. I love it. Jans, we love you, buddy.
This is the last year of his buyout. This is it for Keith Yandel.
I don't think he's going to stop being a Panther fan because he stopped getting paid by
No, I'm just saying this is the last season of his of the Panthers paying him for his buyout, and now his money's going to come off the books. So that's definitely going to help the Panthers in free agent in the offseason this coming up. So
pretty well-run front office, I'd say.
yeah, I would say so as well. My winner of the week comes from the Professional Women's Hockey League, and the Ottawa Charge and the Montreal Victoire went to quadruple overtime on Sunday. Catherine Dubras scored the game-winning goal. Quadruple overtime. The longest playoff game in PWHL history was ended.
Thank God the home team won.
Yeah.
For all those fans that stuck around that long.
Yeah.
Look how many there are.
There's a lot of fans, and that's a lot of people. Maybe it was a day game that went tonight, maybe. But that was Montreal's first ever playoff win. Good on them. They play Game 4 tonight, Ottawa and Montreal. And the winner of that series is going to end up playing the Minnesota Frost in the PWHL final.
They advanced last night, right?
Yeah, they beat the Toronto Scepters and Sarah Nurse. Unfortunately,
was that 2 nights ago? That was the same night as the Leafs Panthers, right?
Yeah. So that's very unfortunate. My girl is out of the playoffs in Toronto, but it's going to be either Ottawa and Montreal, and they will end up playing the Minnesota Frost in the PWHL final. So good on Montreal for that win, and good on the Professional Women's Hockey League as they continue to thrive. Ethan.
My win of the week goes to Nazem Kadri. Guys, we've talked a lot about Mikko Rantanen and how unbelievable he's been in these playoffs. We've also talked a lot about how it's made the Colorado Avalanche look. Well, this didn't make them look any better.
Carolina
so he scored, and Carolina as well. So he scores back-to-back hat tricks. And then former teammate in Colorado, Nazem Kadri, takes to Twitter and tweets this tweet here. Rule number 1, you always keep the dogs. Now, there's some not great blood here between Kadri and the Avalanche because he was let go by them as well. I just love a former player supporting his former teammate and dunking on a franchise that let him go with the tweet right there. Mikko Rantanen has continued to be unbelievable. He's got the Stars in position to advance to the Western Conference Finals tomorrow night in Game 6 against the Jets.
Kadri with the Stanley Cup winning goal when they beat Tampa as well. So, yeah, he deserves the dunk on him. Rosie, your win. Maybe put on your mic,
My
Rose.
win of the week is we have new shirts, if you can see up there. So we have one that says my name, one that says Roy's name, one that says David, and one that says Ethan. So what we're going to do is that we're going to compete. And we're going to give ourselves, from now till the end of the season, the day of the Stanley Cup, we're going to see who sold more. And after that, I'm going to figure out what's going to happen.
This game is just going to be whose family has the most members and likes their relative
I didn't
the
know
best.
this was I already ordered like 5 Rose shirts, so I'm already like screwing myself.
Jeez.
There you go. Wow.
Rose.
People love me. What can I do?
You're going to look through the orders, and it's just going to be Badowski.
It's a lot of
Kotzen,
out there.
Kotzen.
So yeah, we have new shirts. They're shirt jerseys.
I love the one right there, the Shutdown City in white.
Oh, yeah. We also have
that's
Shutdown
beauty.
City shirts. We have 2 of them as well. So we have, 6 shirts? 6 shirts total?
We have 6 shirts, yeah.
That
And
just
something
happened in the
else is
span of a
coming.
week.
Look at us. And thank you to Rose who designed those amazing shirts, by the way. Like that's all you.
Yeah.
Quite good.
You're very welcome.
Good on you, Rosie. All right. Fails of the week. David, go ahead, please.
Well, I'm going back to Toronto for my fail of the week because
There's been a lot of failure in Toronto.
look, Wednesday night, you guys know I went up for Game 5. Biggest game in Toronto in over 20 years. And you could feel it in the city. You could feel it before the game walking around. The fans were into it. They were screaming their heads off walking in. Like, I'm just like, man, this is cool for them. This is awesome. And then I felt really bad in the press box because of what happened. If you guys want to roll the tape, you can go ahead. But they just shit the bed. They fell behind 6-0.
Oh, man.
The biggest game in team history,
You guys feel bad about this?
I feel
this
awful
was
for
awesome.
The Toronto fans. I
No,
feel
dude,
as a
whatever,
Miami
who
Dolphins
cares?
fan
Feel
who's been
bad.
suffering my whole bleeping life, like
This shift by Mitch Marner.
That's one of the most egregious mistakes I've seen in a playoff game in a good long time.
David, it's funny you brought up the Dolphins because somebody asked me about the Leafs and who their comparison is, and I said it's kind of like the Dolphins. They have good regular seasons, they get to the playoffs, and they take a crap all over
I
themselves.
wouldn't feel as bad if like they had lost 2-1 or 3-1 or something, if it had been a tight game. But I mean, for all the buildup and for the money people spent to get in that building and how packed it was, a building that's, you know, kind of notorious for maybe not having the most passionate fans because of how much it costs and the corporations and all that BS downstairs. No, that place was rocking. It was like Four Nations worthy, and it went from here to here in an instant.
Yeah, 4 turnovers on that second goal. What it looked like.
Yeah, it was just not good. And I feel for the Toronto fans. I don't want you guys to have redemption because I want the Panthers to win, obviously. But I do feel for you because that was, yes.
Actually, my fail goes aligned with you. I think my fail is I would have loved that it was 6-0 because I would have loved if Bobby had a
shutout.
He deserved the shutout. Yeah, he was so good.
So
in that
I would have
game.
loved it.
So you're giving a fail to the Panthers for allowing that goal?
Yes.
And it
because
was like a minute left.
it would have
too.
been a two in a row, right? The last
Yeah,
one
so
he
it
had.
would've been two shutouts in a row.
Yeah, and it
Look,
was 2
Bob's
minutes
no
left.
Stuart Skinner.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2
That's
minutes
a great
left on the game.
comparison. And just,
So that was my fail. Yeah.
all right, so dude, you just skipped the line there?
No, I'm sorry because it was already aligned with that. I just said it because it. Yeah. Sorry.
Roy,
You can
do
go.
you have a fail?
I do. My fail of the week comes off the ice and onto the street because Ilya Kovalchuk, who literally retired 2 months ago, is apparently a menace behind the wheel because in the past year and a half, Kovalchuk has been caught speeding 115 times. He's been caught driving on the shoulder or not complying with the requirements of signs and markings on the street 46 times and illegally parked 24 times.
That's like every other day he's getting a ticket for something.
You know, if this was if he was in America, he would have had his license suspended so long that he would have had to have been reincarnated 3 times just to get his license back. I guess he has the ticket wizard in Russia or something.
Yeah, you
It's
probably know
ridiculous.
somebody.
Yeah, I mean, he's got plenty of money to pay off those tickets, but that's a lot of points on your license. Jesus, Ethan.
My fail of the week, we talked about how the Leafs crapped their pants earlier, and I'm not accusing Torquay of crapping his pants here, but I am accusing him of crapping while tweeting.
I know.
Because look at this tweet he threw up here. My hotel in Toronto has a fancy computerized toilet with a heated seat. Could you have made it any more obvious that you were tweeting here from the toilet? So my fail of the week goes to David Dwork for telling the entire world he is on the toilet while he's tweeting.
All right, I'm not going to confirm or deny where I was when I sent that tweet, but
You don't have to confirm.
I mean,
I know
you
exactly
confirmed that
where
you
you
were in
were.
Toronto.
I know exactly where you were.
It says it in the tweet.
No, but I'm saying if I was sitting on the toilet at the time of composure of the tweet. But who cares? Like, don't. Is
Listen,
there anybody?
there's nothing
okay,
wrong
there's
with it.
4 of us.
I just thought it was
Do
funny.
any of you not do that? Sit on the toilet, tweet, send
Of course.
text messages.
I just thought it was funny because then somebody afterwards called you out. This is definitely tweeted from the toilet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I will go ahead and confirm that it was. But dude, I don't know if you guys
Was
have
it
ever sat on
life-changing?
a-
I do want to hear your opinion
I don't
on
know if
this.
it was life changing, but every other toilet that I ever sit on is in a pale in comparison. Like that, it was a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling. And I would have had the same reaction as you a week ago, but now that I've experienced it, it's nice.
Yeah, is that water that comes out and
I didn't do that. No. I just sat in the heated seat and that was nice.
Jesus, like that episode of Breaking Bad where
Hey, that-
Skyler was standing on the heated bathroom floor.
They have that in Japan also, like when they start moving and it's massage. It's very.
I will say that must
very
come in
weird.
unbelievable handy during the winter.
I bet.
Yeah.
That must be amazing
weird.
during the winter.
For those who are watching on DraftKings Network, we have Ant-Man Verk coming up next. He's going to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs and some transactions that have happened this week in the National Hockey League. That's coming up next. You can watch our show on YouTube by going to Leviton and Friends and clicking on the playlist button and clicking on the Hockey Show folder. Ant-Man Verk's coming up next.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Ryan, and the boys of summer are already humming. They fixed the sport of baseball, everybody, so go out to a ball game. Sometimes tickets are harder to find, sometimes you want a better deal than what's out there. Well, Game Time is the place to check for Major League Baseball tickets. And now Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. You may be asking yourself, Mike, what does last-minute deals even mean? It means you can save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater, the whole gamut. Plus, you get all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows you the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. I know how much people hate that. I've been there. Hated it. Don't have to deal with it at Game Time. That's what makes it my favorite app in the marketplace. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
It's time for our monthly check-in with Adnan Burke, and we're going to start with movies this time because there's not like, Stanley Cup playoff action happening or anything like that. So we're just doing
We are 16 minutes into the show and have not talked about any of the playoff action yet.
So what?
We
I
talked
don't
about
care.
Connor McDavid's
Ethan
gloves
is great.
before we
Happy.
talked about Game 6 or Game 5 of Jets Stars, Game 5 of Carolina.
It happened. We'll
Game
get to
5
it.
of the Panthers.
We will get to it. But movies. Rosie,
Okay.
please.
So the new Lilo and Stitch is coming. You like that? Okay. What do you think about seeing the trailer? Do you think that it's gonna be a good one, or is it gonna be like the Lion King that they just messed it up?
I think it's more towards the latter, Rose. But I'll tell you, I did like Lilo and Stitch. I've got 4 boys, so I've got plenty of time to watch kids' movies with them. And my 13-year-old, my 8-year-old, both excited for Lilo and Stitch. So we're definitely going to go see it. We like the animated one, particularly the fact that Stitch is a huge fan of Elvis. So I love the fact, they're playing Blue Hawaii or Jailhouse Rock, whatever the songs are. So I did enjoy the soundtrack. As an animation movie, I thought it was fine. I don't think it's as good as Toy Story 3, but it got the job done. Not as good as Soul. I know, Rose, you're not as crazy about that as others, but
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, as far as the live action one, though, I mean, I'm with you. The Lion King, what are we doing? They keep recycling the same ideas. Like, it worked as an animation movie. Let's make it a live action, but it'll probably be inferior. But will I see it? Absolutely.
Apparently, David has a
I have to hear
Stitch
this
impression. You got a Stitch impression. Go ahead, David.
You're gonna see my movie, Adnan?
Pretty solid.
That's great.
Pretty solid.
I never seen the
Actually,
movies.
my
I
next
have no
question
idea.
was gonna be, who would you
Considering
cast?
David, I think, is the least disinterested in this topic, out of nowhere with the Stitch impression.
I have a very good friend who does an amazing Stitch impression. I'm going to see if she can send me an audio bite of it and put it on the show.
What is it, Jeremy?
I just want to make it abundantly clear that's one of the greatest limited fakes that we've ever had in this show.
Yeah.
That is spot on.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Oh, my God. That's great.
I can do Smeagol. My precious, where? No, master.
All right, so that was Lord of the Rings.
18 minutes
right?
into the show, still no talk about Connor
I
Hellebuck.
do a good Peter Griffin laugh, too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wait, you did not say that my Smeagol impression was great. What happened?
Precious.
Can we do an impression of people talking about hockey now, please?
No. Does anybody else have a movie question?
Yeah.
We move
Who
on?
would you cast? Who would you cast from the Florida Panthers as Stitch? One of the players.
That's Stitch, Brad
Marchand. Come on, that's an easy one.
Let's go.
Right away, without hesitation. Brad Marchand.
All right.
Okay,
now,
we can move on.
now we can talk about hockey. Just not Stanley Cup
Thank you,
playoffs.
God.
We're going to talk about transactions because there are new head coaches in the National Hockey League right now. Rick Tocchet. Yeah, two of them. Rick Tocchet went from Vancouver to Philadelphia to replace John Tortorella. And Adam Foote is taking over, who was on Rick Tockett's staff in Vancouver. He's now the head coach for the Canucks. So, Rick Tocchet going to Philadelphia, replacing John Tortorella. What philosophy changes do you see happening in Philadelphia right now?
No, it's so funny because he's like, it's rare that you can imagine, Roy, that you could say a lighter version of John Tortorella or like a player's version of John Tortorella. But that's kind of what we're getting here with Rick Tocchet. And it's funny. My Flyers fandom, as you know, Roy, goes back to the 87 Flyers. That was a team that made me fall in love with hockey and fall in love with the sport. And, of course, Rick Tocchet was an incredible part of that, along with Ron Hextall and Pelle Ekland and all the rest of it. Tocchet's that rare player that could score 30 goals in 300 penalty minutes in a single season. So, all-time great Flyer. But I'm curious what kind of success they're going to have. It's clear what they're doing, which is that they're playing to guys like me, which is, we're going to have all these former great Flyers. Danny Briere, Keith Jones, Rick Tocchet. Will there be any actual success? Who knows? But it'll remind you of all those great Flyer teams of the past. So, Tocchet, it's funny. Jason Mers was saying to me on our podcast, it's interesting that this is a guy who has not had that many winning seasons as a head coach. Look up Rick Tockett's record. We know about the Jack Adams Award with the Vancouver Canucks in 2024. We know he's a very likable guy. We know everyone's in on Rick Tocchet. He's great on TV. He was a great player. But is he a great coach? Not sure. And I'm curious, Roy, to your point in terms of styles, with Bradshaw, there's the interim coach. They felt unshackled. Michkov was playing well. He was doing different things. It was an imagining way to get these guys to be more creative. With Tocchet there, he's more defensively responsible, more defensively conscientious. Is it going to work? I'm not sure. He's kind of a poor man's Tortorella in that respect.
So Adam Foote takes over for Rick Tocchet. What do you see happening in Vancouver for the Canucks?
So this is hysterical, Roy. This is the classic example of Quinn Hughes is going to go to New Jersey. We all know this, right? He's going to go play with his brothers. I mean, if you get a chance to play with your brothers, if you're one of the Sutter brothers, imagine Gordie Howe playing with Mark and Marty Howe. Of course you'd want to take that chance. They go, well, we can't have this happen. I mean, God, he's a big fan of Adam Foote. Hey, Adam, do you want the job? Great. Jimmy Rutherford is just throwing darts at a dartboard going, Quinn Hughes loves Adam Foote. We'll hire Adam Foote. Anything Quinn Hughes wants, we'll do it to keep him there. Now, I love Adam Foote as a player, of course. I'm Canadian. He was great for Team Canada, was great all those years of the Colorado Avalanche, was Avalanche Red Wings series, unbelievable in '96. And, I mean, with that beak, you know he's a hockey player. Yeah. Makes me think of the Mel Kiper, right? Does Mel Kiper look like the fatherly protective eagle? One could say the same of Adam Foote. There's no question about it. Again, his hockey acumen is unchallenged. Is he the difference maker for the Canucks? Probably not, but he's who Quinn Hughes likes. He's who he wanted, so they're doing everything they can to placate Quinn Hughes. Will it matter? I don't think so. I think he's going to leave Vancouver. He's going to go to New Jersey to play with his brothers. But will Adam Foote get the job done? Remains to be seen. It was a really disappointing year for the Canucks, no question about it. He's got to get Elias Pettersson going. Forget about Hughes. Get Pettersson going.
Well, the Los Angeles Kings had a disappointing end to the season. Ken Holland is now the new general manager there. He's going to keep Jim Hiller as the head coach. What are you seeing going on in Los Angeles?
So this is a hilarious one as well, fellas. You know, if you can't beat him, steal him. Ken Holland was one of the architects of this Oilers team, which helped beat the Kings year after year. You know, let's just steal Kenny. We'll try to figure this thing out. I can't believe it's been 4 straight years the Kings have lost the Oilers. I really thought, fellas, I got duped this year. I thought the Kings would beat them because they've been so good at home. I thought they were the better team. They had more depth. And no, I was wrong. And I'm never counting against the Oilers again. I thought they were going to lose in that series against the Kings. I thought they'd lose in this series, and I was wrong. So I'm not counting against the Oilers, man. From now on, they're my Stanley Cup pick. Oilers are that's right. I'm not calling against the Oilers from now on. They're going to win the Stanley Cup. They're unbelievable right now.
Oh,
it's the Panthers, I believe.
Maybe they're going to reach the Stanley Cup, Adnan. But you know,
I know that Oilers Star series, Dave. You're right. It's going to be unbelievable because the other thought was this: winner of Stars Avalanche wins the Stanley Cup, which has been another thought which could be interesting if that ends up being the case. But I'm not counting against Edmonton after what I've seen so far from this team and their grit and determination, dispatching them in 5. Back to your point with the Kings, Roy. There's something had to change, and here's the frustration: Kopitar's 38, Doughty's 36. Then you've got these younger guys like Kempe and Quentin Byfield. Yeah. Kemper's Vezina finalist. He was great for them. So where are you going here? Are you zigging or are you zagging? This is an enormous disappointment. And how about Rob Blake? Jason Demers told me the story. Apparently, Rob Blake went to them, was like, listen, you got to make a move here, so just go ahead and fire me. But he made sure that everybody else got raises and got extensions. So, I mean, that's a classic falling on the sword. Like, something has to happen. It's on me, but take care of the rest of these guys as I see myself out.
And Sam Gagner has retired. He has made the transition to the front office for the Ottawa Senators. What do you think his transition is going to look like?
All things go back to the 87 Flyers. I love the Ottawa Senators. I love Dave Poulin, who was a big aspect of the mid-'80s Flyers. I talked to Poulin when I was in Ottawa earlier this season, and he thought he was done. You know, he was obviously a terrific player all those years, Flyers and Bruins, was a great analyst on TSN for years, worked with my friend Andy Petrillo. And then Steve Stais goes, hey, man, you got to help me turn around this Ottawa Senators team. Okay, fine. And they've done an amazing job, Poulin, Stais, et cetera, in terms of getting that Ottawa team to buy in and finally make the playoffs. Lost the Battle of Ontario to Toronto, but still, it was a successful season. Let's get another former player in Gagner, whether or not he'll be success, who knows? I love Dave Gagner way back in the day on the Minnesota North Stars.
Panther.
Yep.
There you go. And Sam was a terrific player for years. So I think Ottawa's definitely building something special, guys. They're on the way up. And clearly with that Brady Tkachuk, it's nothing but bright stars ahead.
All right. So, Ethan, you can relax. We're going to start talking about the playoffs
22
now.
minutes into the show.
No,
God damn it, Ethan.
I got you.
More.
All right, Adnan. Let's talk playoffs. Let's talk your home country.
Are you happy now?
Let's talk the Maple Leaf. Not dissimilar to the Edmonton Oilers, who went down 2-0 to start the playoffs, and I don't think they've lost since. Don't feel like it. Toronto went up 2-0 in their series against the Panthers. This is their year. It's going to happen. Look at what's going on. The core four is alive. The goaltending looks good.
They look dead to me.
And now here we are a week later. Are you surprised by what's happened to the Maple Leafs? Are you more surprised that they had the good start to the series they did? And do they have any chance to come back in the Panthers?
I'm just chuckling away, Dave. No, they don't. And I'm laughing at myself because I said going into this series, I think it's going to be a really good series. And people are like, really? I'm like, yeah, I do think the Panthers win in 6, but I do think Toronto's playing better this season. They finally got a better defense, particularly Tanev. I think the core four will be better. I don't think they're going to step up. I don't see an Austin Matthews hat-trick game in Game 4, but I think they'll be better. And their goaltending surprised me so far. That was my thought process. And I'm watching the game, Dave, Game 3. 3-1 Toronto's up. And I'm sitting to myself going, like maybe this is the year. Eventually the worm will turn. I've seen the Cubs win after 108 years. I've seen the Red Sox break a curse after 86 years. If they beat the Florida Panthers, if they go 3 on the series, it's ball game. and I'm going to have them favored against the Canes and the Capitals. And then in the Stanley Cup Final, I doubt they're going to beat the Stars or the Avalanche or the Oilers, but who knows? Like, maybe this is the year. And then I'm laughing because that's when you got to remember the Leafs are the Leafs. That's what
By the time you finished your thought, it was already 3-3.
Exactly. I go, 3-3. Here we go. Leafs going to do it again. 4-3 Panthers. Leafs show a glimmer of hope for all my fellow Torontonians. Bah! In overtime, Panthers win. Game 4, Bobrovsky's back. Shutout. Bam. And one of my best friends, my dear college roommate, John Adeline, asks me for tickets for Game 5. And I said,
oh, no.
I said, John, why do you want to do this to yourself? The Leafs are going to stink. They're going to lose. I said, I know. I love you, buddy. But the Leafs, this is what the team is. It's a world-class city with a crappy team. They always do this. So he ends up paying, $1,000. Him and his son Jesse, who was a great kid. And
no!
And Roy, I'm telling everybody, I go, the Panthers are going to win in 6. Like, it's over. I said, by the way, I felt so confident they win Game 5 specifically. I said the Panthers are winning Game 5. There's no way the Leafs come back from this, and they get drubbed 6-1. And I'm thinking to myself, this is why parents, I can't believe I just invest $1,000 to go watch this team lay this crap burger. Matthews 0 goals in 10 second-round games. Marner, hideous play. Obviously, you guys have talked about the turnover, but doing nothing offensive. I think 2 shots on goal in his last 4 games, which is abysmal. Nylander's at least playing a little bit better. Wool gets pulled after being pretty good. 5 goals allowed. And here's the best thing about your Florida Panthers. How about the balanced effort? Like, if it was Tkachuk leading the way, fine. But it's like 3 defensemen scoring, which hasn't happened since the Rangers back in 2021. Like, you're getting Boquist scoring. Like, you're getting 6 different Panthers scoring, a true egalitarian effort. And that, to me, honestly, was the most enjoyable part of it. Like, it's one thing if you say, you know what? The Panthers are probably favored to win this series. Of course, they won the Stanley Cup last year. But they're doing it with their depth. And the Leafs Stars, as usual, coming up blanks.
We'll get to the Panthers more later, but one thing I do want to mention, since you mentioned the depth, 17 different scorers for the Panthers, first time for any team in 30 years. And that doesn't even include guys like Evan Rodriguez and Gustav Forsling, who are guys you expect to score at some point in the playoffs. They could very easily have 20 scorers at some point in these playoffs. Adnan, I want to ask you about a series I find fascinating, and you talked a little bit about it earlier, just already assuming it's going to be Stars-Oilers in the Western Conference Finals. But the Jets keep their season alive last night. Connor Hellebuck, a second straight shutout in a home playoff game. So now we have the question presented in front of us. We finally will get the answer. Can Connor Hellebuck play well in back-to-back playoff games, and can he play well in a road playoff game? So I ask the question to you. Will he finally prove us wrong that he can do those things?
No. I'm rooting for Connor Hellebuck. There's no question about it. I don't like when superstars don't play well in the playoffs. It reminds me of Clayton Kershaw for years, right? You go, this guy's one of the greatest pitchers we've ever seen in our lifetime. And what happens in the playoffs, he blows up, particularly late in the start. Kershaw, 6th inning, 7th inning, forget about it. They'd go too long, and eventually you get lit up. With Hellebuck, same issue. You go, all right, it seems like it's a fatigue thing. He plays so much in the regular season. Maybe they shouldn't play him as much. And I asked Scott Arniel this in March. I said, I don't want to bring up the past because, I said, but Hellebuck's going to win a 3rd Vezina. He might win the Hart. And the issue is he gets leaky come playoff time. Maybe rest him a little bit. And he goes, honestly, I got to fight him on this. Like, we map it out a month in advance. All right, you're not playing the back-to-back. Comrie's in for this game, et cetera, et cetera. He wants to play as much as possible. And I'm not going to criticize Scott Arniel, Kingston guy. We both grew up same town, small town, Ontario. But eventually, Hellebuck just doesn't step up come playoff time. And these numbers, Ethan, are ghastly on the road. This isn't like a couple of bad bounces. This is like a sub-800 save percentage. This is a goals against over 4. It's atrocious. I wouldn't start Comrie in Game 6. I'm not that much of a lunatic, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that he pitched a shutout in Game 5 because he is one of the game's great players. He's going to win the Hart Trophy, for God's sakes. Goalies don't do that unless they're Jose Theodore or Carey Price. He's going to do that, and yet he has not proven himself to be capable of winning on the road. 3 goals allowed in Game 4. Okay, it wasn't terrible. Their offense was the reason they didn't win, Scheifele, Connor, etc. But do I see Connor Hellebuck pitching a shutout in Game 6? Of course not. Do I see the Jets offense scoring 4 or 5 goals? Of course not. I think they're going to lose like 4-1, and that's it. And it's a shame because I really would like to see Winnipeg go deep.
The Hurricanes wrapped up their series against the Capitals last night. They scored late in regulation to wrap that up, and they will play either the Maple Leafs or, for the second time in 3 years, the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Final. The Capitals had the best record in the Eastern Conference. Nobody expected that to happen. Nobody expected them to reach the second round, let alone have the best record in the East. So where do they go from here? What does Alexander – we believe that Alexander Ovechkin is going to end up playing next season, however long he's end up playing, until like he scores 1,000 goals.
That's
or
the
1 million
number.
goals.
That's the number. It's 1K.
The 1,000 goals is the milestone that he's looking at. But where did the Capitals go from here?
Well, first off, Roy, I love the fact you're not asking me about the series because this was easily the most boring series of any.
Oh my God.
The second round, right?
Somebody has to talk about it.
Exactly. When it was on, it was like, I'll just watch the next game. Like, this is terrible. This is terrible hockey. And okay, the Hurricanes winners certainly did an excellent effort, but the Capitals just looked, very few quality scoring chances throughout this series. Ovechkin was completely quiet. Freddie Anderson's been the story of the playoffs in many ways. No one's watching the series, but he's been great. He's like a .938 save percentage. The better question, as you said, is not what happened, because who cares? Nobody was watching it. Carolina 1-5. But what happens next? So Washington overachieved. Carberry's probably going to win the Jack Adams. Did an amazing job with this young core. They've got players now in Strome, McMichael, etc. What do you do with Ovechkin? Yeah, listen, he's limping towards the finish line. It feels like after what was a resurgent regular season. Like you thought, okay, he'll be a 25 goal scorer for a couple more years. No, he was great, got hurt, came back, was great, but in the playoffs completely ran out of gas. Unless it was in the playoffs, unless it was in the power play, he wasn't going to score a goal. So I do think Washington will still be an elite team, but you're right, Roy, they overachieved. Nobody thought they'd be a 1 seed. They should probably next year be a 3 or a 4. Like they're going to be a playoff team again, but it's a matter of now incorporating more of that youth and lessening the load on players like Ovechkin.
And finally, the Edmonton Oilers, since going down 0-2 against the Kings, have won 8 games out of the next 9. That one loss came off of an own goal from Leon Draisaitl's stick with 4/10 of a second left. But despite all that, they got rid of Vegas in 5 games. The biggest question, though, is the goaltending. What do you think is going to happen there? Are they going to go as far as Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid is going to take them, or will the goaltending and possibly defense end up getting them out of the playoffs?
Yeah, it's a great point, because clearly McDavid and Draisaitl are superstars, but if they don't have quality goaltending, they're not going to win. So I don't know what is in the water right now in Alberta, but I did not expect Calvin Pickard to go 5-0 in the playoffs like he's Grant Fuhr. Nobody had done that since, of course, Fuhr, the all-time Hall of Famer and great player. And then Skinner comes back after Pickard's out, and you go, here they go. No, shutout. Skinner, unbelievable. Back-to-back games was absolutely outstanding. So I think they go with Skinner to start, but now they feel pretty good about Pickard if he needs to come in. And I did not expect this, fellas. If you said to me, teams can ride 2 goalies towards success, yeah, the Leafs thought they could do it with Stolarz and Wool. But the fact the Oilers are doing this with Pickard and Skinner, it's amazing. The 6 straight come-from-behind wins to begin the playoffs were amazing. The fact they got rid of Vegas in 5. Vegas just looked tired, guys. They looked like they extended all their energy in that first round. Obviously missing Mark Stone. They couldn't score any goals. That was really kind of straightforward what happened to them. And again, on paper, I should be picking the Stars, but I'm not doing this again. I picked against Edmonton twice. I'm not doing it again. For some reason, they got some magic elixir. Chris Knobloch has got the boys going. Evander Kane's been great, by the way. Speaking of a guy who's been so good for them and doing everything right, Kane's been fabulous. So I don't think it matters who the goalie is. Both those guys are hot right now. It's amazing. Oilers look good.
All right. Tell them what you're doing right now, Ant-Nan, because we got prime Monday Night Hockey. You're the studio host for that. So tell them what you're doing right now.
Yeah, NHL Unscripted, our podcast with Jason Demers. You can listen to that, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, or Apple Podcasts and iHeart. Having a blast. JD's a great dude. Loves talking about the Sharks and Coyotes stories from way back when. And hopefully you guys will have him on the hockey show as well. Demers will be great. You got to have him awesome. Come up with you guys. Yeah,
well,
he'd be great.
He's a former Panther, too, so I mean,
Yeah, we'll try to get him on. We'll try to get him on.
We do have some love for the former Panthers.
Yeah, yes, we do. And Verk, thank you for joining us.
This was awesome, boys. Glad we got the Lilo and Stitch out of the way. Dave, close us out with one more Stitch. Come on.
Let's go Panthers.
Let's go
Let's go Panthers.
There you go.
Love you, Adnan.
Love you too, Stitch.
Okay, so I thought I was good with money. Turns out I was really good at ignoring it. Like, how am I spending this much on delivery or Uber? Or that one shoe store that I buy too many shoes from. Then I started using Monarch Money, and dude, it's a financial wake-up call. Monarch's not just some budgeting app. It's basically your money command center. Puts everything, accounts, credit cards, investments, into one place so you're not guessing anymore. And listen, I found stuff I didn't even know I was paying for. Since I started using Monarch, I'm tracking my spending, actually saving, and yeah, even having money check-ins with my wife, and we're looking at each other and we're like, yeah, okay, we're all good. It makes the hard stuff way easier, and over 1 million households use Monarch. It was named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. So it's not just me hyping up, it's legit. It's real. Real deal Holyfield. And get control of all of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code Dan at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Dan.
All right, so here's something interesting. Did you know that sleep actually is really important to recovery? I mean, who knew, right? And everyone needs something different from their bed, which is why Sleep Number makes these smart beds that let you adjust each side to the firmness you want. Kind of perfect for couples that can't agree on anything. They've even partnered with the NFL since 2018, and 80% of NFL players sleep on a Sleep Number smart bed. So yeah, there's a reason these things are popular. They've got beds that cool you down, up to 15 degrees cooler on either side, to help you sleep better, especially if you're someone who wakes up sweating like you just ran wind sprints in your dreams. The bed also responds to your movements and adjusts as you sleep, which is wild. Why choose Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now, it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
All right, it's time to start our recap of the week. That was the Florida Panthers. They are currently in the midst of their series against the Maple Leafs, and there's a bit of league news that came out this week as a result of Game 4. Apparently, second in charge of the team, and I'm talking about second in charge, like second on the organizational chart, Doug Sifu, who's a minority owner of this franchise, is the vice chairman, the partner, and the alternate governor. He is literally the sixth name on the Stanley Cup. Like, everybody in front of him has the last name Viola. In fact, there's not a single person on this team who could tell him what to do who does not have the name Viola. So that's where we are right now. He's second as far as high-ranking official on this team. So he got himself in a little bit of trouble with a back and forth with a known Twitter troll by the profile name of @MrGraz. His profile name is Dr. Grizzo. And this happened after Game 4. They were going back and forth. He's a known Toronto sports fan who's a Twitter troll. People know this, apparently. And I'll spare you the details of the back and forth because it was pretty bad, but I will give you the tweet that got him in trouble with the National Hockey League. Is on the screen right now. This is from @Dougie Large. Eat shit, 51st state anti-Semite loser. Israel now and forever until every last Hamas rat is eliminated. Quote, unquote. And that's bad. That's really, really bad. And he had locked his Twitter account and eventually deactivated his Twitter account altogether. But the National Hockey League suspended Doug Sifu on Monday night indefinitely. And the league said in their statement, the National Hockey League has concluded that Mr. Sifu's ex-posts were unacceptable and inappropriate. As a result, Mr. Sifu has been suspended indefinitely from any involvement with the club and the NHL. An in-person meeting will be scheduled with Mr. Sifu and the commissioner at a date to be determined.
I'm going to be honest with you. Every time you say seafood, I thought it was a seafood problem that was happening.
You think you got food poisoning?
Yeah. You say seafood. I'm like, what's the seafood problem that we have here?
Seafood. His last name is spelled
seafood, but I thought it was seafood all the time.
C-I-F-U.
I know.
Now, if you want an opinion on what's going on with Israel and Hamas, you're not going to find it here. All right? You can find that on your favorite news network if you want to find that opinion or if you want to find that talk. We are equipped to talk hockey. Well, three of us are equipped to talk hockey. One of us is apparently equipped to
even though we haven't talked barely any hockey today.
Let's talk Barkey.
What are you talking about? We haven't talked hockey. We literally talked to Adnan Verk.
Not enough.
We shown hockey videos today for Jägermeister for crying out loud. What are you talking about?
Not enough.
We've been talking hockey. All right? And I'm still talking hockey because I'm talking about a guy who is, again, second in charge of a professional franchise in a North American league. Why are you getting baited by a Toronto sports fan and saying this stuff? How stupid can you be?
I think that's the moral of the story is know thyself on social media. Like you or me, we could probably talk silly with people and we're not going to get dinged that much. But when you're the second in command of a professional sports team, one that just so happened to be the champions of their league currently, maybe, and I'm sure he realizes that. I'm sure the couple of days after his post and his account got deactivated and he subsequently got suspended by the NHL, I'm sure he's taking those licks a little bit.
Well, he has said some wild stuff on Twitter to begin with. Why are you clearing your voice?
Because talking about that, the Panthers are 2-3, and even my sister was surprised about that because when I told her the Panthers were 2-0, she was like, "Oh, come on, they won the last year, so don't be so hard on them." I'm like, and then when she was surprised that they are now 3-2, we have having good games. How is Toronto, David?
I'm trying to figure out what this has to do with Doug Sifu and what we're talking about. You trying to get us off this subject?
Yes.
Toronto was lovely.
Oh, nice.
How was Toronto?
It was great. I love Toronto.
Did you guys see that Mitch Marner shift? That was crazy. What was he doing?
Ethan wants to talk hockey, and he's
what was he doing?
That
Spinning off a defender, throwing a pass backhanded to the middle of the ice.
See what
gets
he was
picked
thinking.
off, gets beat to the net by Jesper Boquist while he was still in the defensive zone. Like, what was going on there?
You will not deter me from what I am talking about.
Oh man,
what Doug Sifu did was stupid. Now let's talk about the Maple Leafs and Panthers series.
I'm gonna rip my hair out, man.
All right, so game 6 is tonight, and the Panthers have a chance to clinch this series. Yeah, we will be there.
Speak for yourself.
So we're gonna have post-game rows.
Well,
Yes,
it's our job to be there.
Yes, we're gonna have plus game.
We can say this on the show today. Anybody watching, and before the Panthers game, there will be for the first time this postseason, we will have hockey show post-game.
Yes. Well, unless she gets caught in traffic and forgets her stuff.
Or if Rose loses the camera.
That it could happen.
And if we happen to be very dark, she has lost the light for the camera before.
Yeah, she has.
So but we'll all be there. If we got to post it on our cell phones,
That's not true. We all won't be there.
We're not talking about you. We're not talking about you.
We're
We're talking about credentialed members of the media.
We're talking about the ones who went to Edmonton last
You're going to
year,
the bar.
sorry.
Yeah, enjoy your time at the bar.
I would have to spend $250 on tickets. I don't feel like doing that again.
$250. Where are you sitting?
To get way up there, even $250.
That's too low.
That's about the get-in price, Roy. It's
I think they've got
$250
the standing room
in the top row.
This man has like fourth party tickets. Are you getting that on Game Time?
No.
You getting on Game Time?
And apparently,
I got to check Game Time.
You know
Affordable
how,
tickets there.
real quick, you know how they used to have an arcade at the 300 level?
Yeah.
And they changed it out. So apparently all the arcade games are still in the arena. They're at the top of the standing room
That's
section,
true. I've seen those
up
right
in
next to where the
corner.
organ is. Yes.
So if you're looking for something fun to do when the Panthers aren't kicking ass, there's still those.
Did you
those
see
games.
that
go to
Mitch
Game Time, get
Marner
those tickets,
shift?
and get up there
Did
in
you
that
see
arcade.
that Mitch Marner shift?
As I said,
We all saw it.
As I said at the beginning of the show, that was one of the dumbest things I've ever. A no-look spinorama backhand pass to the neutral zone, hoping that somebody on the Maple Leafs would end up getting that breakout, and that was intercepted.
If you do that, you at least have to beat the guy to the net. You can't get beat to the net by Jesper Boquist for a wide open tap.
To be fair, if I'm Mitch Marner,
that was insane.
and I'm making that pass, I'm not expecting my amazing pass to get intercepted. If I'm making that pass with all the confidence in the world, I feel like this is going to be a breakout type pass. Why would I need to get back on defense? So I understand why he might have been a little slow to react to that.
But he was at the blue line.
He had plenty of time.
Get
He was
back.
still in the defensive zone. He had plenty of time to react to the fact that his pass got intercepted. The pass was made up to Sam Reinhart, and then Reinhart makes the pass over to Boquist, who's sprinting, crashing the net. It was an unbelievable shift from Mitch Marner, and it was just reflective of what Rosie. What
Did somebody
what
just
happened?
buy a Rose shirt?
Put your mic on.
Oh, it looks like we have a graphic.
Oh, we have a graphic for our shirts. I'll put it up.
All right, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But
Yeah, just interrupt everybody with.
I just dance. I'm not.
I did. You don't realize how distracting it is when you dance.
sorry.
Because now we gotta go to you because you're celebrating about something, and apparently it's a
Something
graphic
beautiful.
for shirts.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Anyway.
our merch is on levitardaf.com. Go and get some.
that Marner shift was just reflective of the larger collective effort from the Toronto Maple Leafs, which was just they quit. There's really no other way around it. The Panthers got out to an early lead. They took a 1-0 lead at the end of the first period. And then in the second period, they came out flying just the same way they did in Game 4, where they won 2-0, only because Joseph Woll stood on his head, by the way. Game 5 is what Game 4 looks like if Joseph Woll is not fantastic in that game. The Panthers were phenomenal in every way. They deserve a lot of the credit, but also the Leafs. This topic has been the Leafs, and it deserves to be the Leafs because this is now year 9 of this experiment, and it's clearly not working anymore. And Marner and Matthews continue time and time again to not show up at this point in the postseason. They have 1 goal between them in this series. Mitch Marner has 2 shots on goal in his last last 4 games. Matthews, I understand he's doing great defensive work. I understand Marner's doing great defensive work, but they're paid to score goals. And I don't believe Mitch Marner will be paid to score goals by the Toronto Maple Leafs anymore after this postseason because of the way that it's gone. The Panthers have dominated them in every facet. And now you're in a situation where you're still alive, but nobody actually believes you're alive. It feels like this tonight is just ceremonial.
There's a funeral tonight.
It's just the funeral.
It's a funeral tonight.
But also, if you're a
We're
Panther
black.
fan, it's terrifying because you're still just one home loss away from having to play a road game 7 against a team with Mitch Marner and Willie Nylander and John Tavares and Austin Matthews. So it's a very peculiar situation to be in, but at the end of the day, I think we all know how tonight's going to go.
There's a prime example of how they quit in this game. Late in the game, they had a power play. Joseph Wall came out to play the puck. Not a single Maple Leaf came out to try to help him.
That was crazy.
That was insane.
So we wearing black tonight? Is that what I heard you say?
Well, I'm wearing black right now.
But you're not wearing the hoodie to the game, are you?
I am.
Oh, well,
yeah, I'm
so
wearing
should I
it.
wear a black jacket tonight?
Sure, wear the black jacket. Yeah, because
Wait, why are we wearing black?
Are you not listening to the goddamn show?
Yeah, but just.
Well, the show's over now.
Roy said we're going to or I think Roy and Ethan both said we're going to the Leafs funeral tonight, apparently.
Oh, we're wearing black. Wait, the show's over?
Yeah, the show's over. I'm ending it right now.
Oh.
I'm wrapping it up.
Did you have
right
anything
now.
to add before we wrap it up, Rosie?
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Roy?
No. So you can find our show on YouTube, Levitard and Friends. You can click on the playlist tab and.
No, you're mixing it up.
Yeah, no, I'm not mixing it up. You can go to Levitard and Friends YouTube page.
I thought you were talking about the merch.
And that's Levitard AF. That's where you find the merch.
And Friends is AF.
And Friends, yeah. Levitard and Friends YouTube page.
We're just like tripping each other up here.
Thank you, everybody.
The playlist.
show.
Hold on, the playlist tab and find our photo of the hockey show.
Remember to buy your jerseys, the one that says
Jerseys. Yeah.
Rosie 7, so we can win.
And also buy a Shutdown City
Shutdown
shirts
City.
as well.
We're going there tonight.
Yeah, Shutdown
do it.
City.
There's a
Burn
funeral
Bye.
in Shutdown City.
Game 6, Panthers, Maple Leafs. Looking at hopefully the endings tonight. Otherwise, they're going back to Toronto for Game 7. It'll be over then, literally.
Bye.
I'm trying to say bye. You won't let me.
Bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Ryan. Now the weather is warming up. That means summer concert season is right around the corner, and so many great acts are releasing albums and touring those albums over the summer. We got stadium shows, amphitheaters, people that want to wear shorts and party all night long. But guess what? Some tickets are hard to find. Sometimes tickets are sold out and you have hard to get into events and you have nowhere to turn other than the secondary market. Well, why don't you turn to Game Time? Because from my experience, that's where I always turn to find the best deal. You may be asking yourself, Mike, what does last minute deals even mean? It means you can save up to 60% off buying last minute tickets for sports, comedy, and theater. But most importantly, this summer, if you're a music lover like me, check out Game Time for concert tickets I already have. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets and shows with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
All right, so here's something interesting. Did you know that sleep actually is really important to recovery? I mean, who knew, right? And everyone needs something different from their bed, which is why Sleep Number makes these smart beds that let you adjust each side to the firmness you want. Kind of perfect for couples that can't agree on anything. They've even partnered with the NFL since 2018, and 80% of NFL players sleep on a Sleep Number smart bed. So yeah, there's a reason these things are popular. They've got beds that cool you down, up to 15 degrees cooler on either side, to help you sleep better, especially if you're someone who wakes up sweating like you just ran wind sprints in your dreams. The bed also responds to your movements and adjusts as you sleep, which is wild. Why choose Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now, it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.